The charity gala was packed. Hundreds of Atlanta's wealthiest people. Diamonds, designer suits, champagne that cost more than rent. They were all there to honor one man, the anonymous donor who had given millions to build shelters across the city. No one knew his name. No one had ever seen his face. The MC stepped to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor." The spotlight hit the stage, and when the man walked out, a woman in the third row dropped her wine glass because she recognized him. Ago, he was sitting on a bench outside her food stand. Dirty clothes, worn-out shoes, hungry, and she had given him the only plate of food she had left, her last meal for the day, the meal she was supposed to eat herself. Now he was standing on that stage in an expensive suit, and he was looking directly at her. Now, before I tell you what happened next, check that subscribe button. If you love stories where the humble rise and the proud fall, hit it right now and turn on notifications, because the payback in this story, it is going to be legendary. Now let me take you back to where it all began. Darius Hale had a problem that money couldn't solve. He was surrounded by people, and completely alone. Darius was worth billions. His company, Hale Global Technologies, had offices in countries. His face was on the cover of Forbes. Bloomberg called him the most innovative mind in African tech. He had a penthouse in Midtown Atlanta that overlooked the entire city, cars he never drove, a closet full of clothes he never wore, and a phone full of contacts who never called unless they needed something. Billions. And not a single person he could trust. It hadn't always been this way. Darius grew up in a Nigerian village. His father was a palm wine tapper. His mother sold akara on the roadside. They had nothing, no car, no TV, sometimes no electricity. But they had love, real, deep, unshakable love. His father would come home every evening, tired and dusty, and his mother would wash his feet, not because she had to, because she wanted to. "That is love, my son," his father told him once. "Love is not what people say when the world is watching. Love is what they do when no one is looking." Darius carried those words like a compass. They guided him through university, through his first years in America, and through the lonely nights of building a company from nothing. But somewhere along the way, the compass stopped working, because the richer Darius got, the less real the people around him became. His first girlfriend left him when his startup was struggling. "I can't do this broke thing. Darius, call me when you make it." He made it. She called. He didn't answer. His second girlfriend stayed through the success, but she stayed for the wrong reasons. She posted him on Instagram, tagged luxury brands, smiled for cameras, called him babe in public and boring in private. When he caught her texting another man, she shrugged. "You're always working. What did you expect?" His business partners were worse. Some of them had tried to steal from him. One had forged documents to take ownership of a subsidiary. Another had sold company secrets to a competitor. Even his own cousin, his mother's sister's son, had come to America, moved into Darius's guest house, and then sued him for millions, claiming he had helped build the company. He hadn't. He had lived rent-free and contributed nothing. Darius had built a wall around his heart so thick that nothing could get through. He ate alone, worked alone, lived alone. His assistant, Malik Thorne, was the closest thing he had to a friend. Malik had been with him, loyal, quiet, honest. "You need to get out more," Malik would say. "You're becoming a ghost." Ghosts don't get betrayed. They also don't live. Darius would shrug and go back to his laptop, but one night, everything changed. It was a day. Darius was working late in his penthouse when his phone rang. It was his mother. "Darius, my son." "Mama, how are you?" "I am old, I am tired, and I am worried about you." "Mama, don't worry, I'm fine. Business is good." "I didn't ask about business. I asked about you. When last did you laugh? When last did someone cook for you? When last did someone sit with you just because they wanted to?" Silence. "Darius, your father used to say something. Do you remember?" Love is what people do when no one is looking. Yes, and my son, when last did someone do something kind for you when they didn't know who you were? That question hit Darius like a truck. When last? Never. Every act of kindness he received came with a price tag. Every smile had an agenda. Every I love you had conditions. Mama, find out, my son. Find out who loves you when you have nothing. That is the person who truly loves you. She hung up. Darius sat in his penthouse, staring at the Atlanta skyline, and by morning, he had a plan. Darius called Malik early. I need you to do something for me, and I need you to not ask questions. That's never a good opening. What is it? I'm going to disappear for days. Silence. Disappear where? Into the streets. I'm going to disguise myself as a poor man. No money, no phone, no name. I want to see how people treat me when they think I'm nobody. Darius, that's... My mother told me to find out who loves me when I have nothing. This is the only way. Malik exhaled. Oh. You're serious? Completely. What about the company? You have board meetings, investor calls, the Tokyo deal closes in. Handle it. You've been ready to run things. Now's your chance. More silence. Days. Days. I'll check in with you once a week from a burner phone. Other than that, I'm a ghost. Malik leaned back in his chair. Your mother told you to do this. She told me to find out who loves me when I have nothing. And you decided the best way to do that is to become homeless. I decided the best way is to become invisible. There's a difference. Malik shook his head. Fine, but I'm setting some ground rules. You check in every Sunday. If you miss one check-in, I'm sending security to find you. Deal. The transformation was thorough. Darius went to a thrift store and bought the cheapest clothes he could find, worn jeans with holes in the knees, a faded t-shirt, beat-up sneakers that had seen better days, an old army jacket with a broken zipper. He stopped shaving, let his beard grow rough and uneven. He put money in his pocket, enough for a few meals, nothing more. He looked in the mirror. The billionaire was gone. In his place stood a man who looked like life had chewed him up and spit him out. Perfect. He walked out of his penthouse, took the service elevator, and stepped into the streets of Atlanta. Nobody looked at him. Nobody nodded. Nobody smiled. Nobody acknowledged his existence. He had become invisible, and the experiment had begun. Darius met the first woman who would change his life, but not in the way you'd expect. Her name was Kendra Vance. He didn't know her name yet. He just knew she was beautiful. Darius was sitting on a bench outside a shopping plaza in Midtown Atlanta, watching people walk by. His stomach was growling. He had eaten only a granola bar and some water. A white Range Rover pulled into the parking lot, brand new, gleaming. The door opened, and Kendra stepped out. She was stunning. Tall, light skin, long braids that cascaded past her shoulders, designer sunglasses, a Chanel bag, Louboutin heels that clicked on the pavement like tiny hammers. She walked past Darius's bench without a glance. Then she stopped. She turned back, looked at him, and wrinkled her nose. Excuse me, you can't sit here. Darius looked up. Why not? Because this is a nice area. You're making it look bad. Go find a shelter or something. I'm just sitting on a bench. And you smell. No offense, but you need to move. I have clients coming to meet me at this cafe, and I can't have this outside. She waved her hand at him like he was a stain she wanted wiped away. Darius studied her face. No shame. No discomfort. She genuinely believed she had the right to remove another human being from a public bench because of how he looked. I'll move, he said quietly. Thank you. There's a homeless shelter on Peachtree. They might have food. She click-clacked away on her Louboutin heels and disappeared into the cafe. Darius sat there for a moment. Then he stood up and walked away. But he didn't forget her face. And fate wasn't done with Kendra Vance, not even close. Darius kept running into Kendra. Atlanta's Midtown area wasn't that big, and she seemed to be everywhere. Each encounter was worse than the last. Kendra walked past with two friends, shopping bags swinging. She pointed at him and laughed. See, that's why I work hard, so I never end up like that. Her friends laughed too. Darius said nothing, just watched them walk away. It was raining. Darius took shelter under the awning of a boutique. Kendra came out of the store and nearly bumped into him. Oh my God, you again? Are you following me? Just trying to stay dry. Well, you're blocking the entrance. My customers don't want to walk past whatever you are. I'm a human being, she rolled her eyes. Barely. Move. He moved. Darius was sitting outside a grocery store. An elderly woman had dropped her bags, and he was helping her pick them up. Kendra saw him touching the grocery bags and screamed, Hey, hey, someone call security. This man is bothering this woman. The elderly woman looked confused. He was helping me, dear. He was stealing from you. Look at him. Does he look like someone who helps people? Security came. The elderly woman explained. Security let Darius go, but the humiliation burned. Kendra didn't apologize. She just tossed her braids and walked away, muttering about these people ruining the neighborhood. Darius watched her go, and he made a mental note. Remember this one. Everything changed because that's when Darius met Lena Brooks. He was walking through a neighborhood in southwest Atlanta, not the fancy part of town, not Buckhead or Midtown. This was the real Atlanta. Working class, humble, honest. The smell hit him first. Jollof rice, fried plantain, pepper soup. His stomach clenched so hard he nearly doubled over. He followed the smell to a small food stand on the corner of a busy street. It was simple, a folding table, a canopy for shade, handwritten signs, large pots of food that smelled like heaven. Behind the stand stood a woman, Lena Brooks, dark skin like midnight silk, natural hair wrapped in a colorful Ankara head wrap. No makeup, no jewelry, just a warm face and hands that moved with purpose. She was serving food to a line of customers, construction workers, bus drivers, students, regular people buying affordable meals. Auntie, give me extra plantain today, a construction worker called. Obi, you say that every day. One day you will turn into a plantain. She laughed and scooped extra onto his plate. Anyway, Darius stood at a distance, watching. There was something about her, something in the way she moved, the way she talked to people, the way she smiled at every single customer like they were the most important person in the world, but he had no money. He had spent his last on water that morning. He turned to leave. Hey, you. He turned back. Lena was looking at him. You've been standing there. Are you hungry? I don't have money. Did I ask you about money? She waved him over. Come sit. She pointed to a small plastic chair next to her stand. Darius sat down. She disappeared behind her pots and came back with a full plate, jollof rice, fried plantain, a thick piece of chicken, a small bowl of pepper soup on the side. Darius stared at the plate. Eat, she said simply, before it gets cold. I can't pay for this. I didn't ask you to pay. I asked you to eat. There's a difference. She went back to serving her customers. Darius ate, and for the first time, maybe for the first time since his mother's cooking in the village, food tasted like love. When he finished, Lena came back with a bottle of water. Better? Much better. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. My mother used to say, a hungry person is God's question to you. What you do with that question is your answer. So I answered. Darius felt something crack open in his chest. What's your name? He asked. Lena, you? He hesitated. Owen, his middle name, close enough to the truth. Owen, that's a good name. It means something meaningful. Are you? Am I what? Meaningful. He laughed. A real laugh, the first one in a while. I don't know. Maybe I used to be. Lena studied him for a moment, those dark eyes seeing something most people missed. You don't look like a man who's always been on the street. What do I look like? Like a man who's lost, not lost like he doesn't have a home, lost like he doesn't know who he is anymore. The accuracy of her words nearly knocked him off that plastic chair. You're very perceptive. I'm very broke. Broke people see the world clearly because we can't afford illusions. She smiled. He smiled back, and something began. Darius came back every day, not because of the food, because of her. Every day, Lena fed him. Every day she refused his apologies for not paying. Every day they talked. He learned her story. Lena had come to America from a Nigerian village. She had a degree in accounting, top of her class, but her credentials weren't recognized in the US. So she did what she had to do. She started a food stand. It's not what I dreamed of, she told him. I dreamed of working in a big office, wearing a suit, doing important things, but dreams don't pay rent. She had a daughter, Kara, bright, curious, the center of Lena's universe. Kara's father had left when Lena was pregnant, went back to Nigeria, never sent a dime. Some men plant seeds and walk away, Lena said, but the tree still grows. Kara is my tree, and she's growing beautifully. Lena worked long hours a day, woke to prep food, stood on her feet selling meals, and went home, helped Kara with homework, collapsed into bed. She made enough to cover rent, food, and Kara's school fees barely. Some months, she didn't eat dinner so Kara could eat more. Are you happy? Darius asked her one afternoon, the same question that had stumped him when his mother asked. Lena thought about it. I have my daughter. I have my health. I have this little stand that feeds people. I have enough. Enough is a blessing. Most people who chase more never realize they already have enough. Darius looked at this woman, exhausted, overworked, underpaid, struggling every single day, and happier than he had ever been with billions. Then came the day that broke him. It was a day, unusually cold for Atlanta. Business had been slow all day. Darius arrived at the stand at noon and noticed something different. Lena's pots were almost empty. Only one plate of food remained, her last plate for the day. Slow day? Darius asked. Very slow. The cold keeps people home. She smiled, but he could see the worry behind it. A slow day meant less money. Less money meant choices, pay the electric bill or buy groceries. Darius looked at the single plate of food. Is that for a customer? No, that's my dinner. She paused. Then she picked up the plate and held it out to him. Here, take it. Lena, that's your dinner. And you're hungry. I'm not taking your last meal. Owen, look at me. He looked. Her eyes were steady, warm, certain. I have eaten today, a little. You look like you haven't eaten since yesterday. Take the food. You need it more than I do. Nobody needs food more than a hungry person. Please, take it. My mother would rise from her grave and slap me if I ate while someone next to me went hungry. She pressed the plate into his hands. Darius looked at the food, jollof rice, fried plantain, her last piece of chicken, the last food she had, given to a stranger she thought had nothing, given without hesitation, without calculation, without expecting anything in return. His hands trembled, his eyes burned, and for the first time, maybe for the first time since he was a boy in the village, watching his mother wash his father's feet, Darius cried. Not a single tear, not a dignified moment of emotion. He broke down, right there on that plastic chair, holding a plate of jollof rice. This billionaire wept like a child. Lena rushed to his side. Oh, Owen, what's wrong? What happened? He couldn't speak. He just shook his head, tears pouring down his face. She did the most natural thing in the world. She put her arms around him and held him, a stranger, a man she thought was homeless, a man who had nothing. She held him like he mattered. It's okay, she whispered. Whatever it is, it's okay. You're not alone. You're not alone. 3 words that cost nothing. 3 words worth more than billions. When he finally composed himself, she handed him a napkin and sat beside him. You don't have to tell me what's wrong, she said, but I want you to know you have a friend here, okay? Whatever happens, you have a friend. Darius looked at her, and in that moment he knew. This was the one. This was the person his mother told him to find. The one who loved him when he had nothing. Darius broke his own rules that night. He went to his penthouse, called Malik. I found her. Found who? The person Mama told me to find, the one who loves me when I have nothing. He told Malik everything. Lena, the food stand, Kara, the last meal. Malik was quiet for a long time. What are you going to do? I'm going to tell her the truth. But not yet. I need to do something first. What? I need to make sure she's real, not just kind to me, kind to everyone, kind when it costs her something, kind when no one is watching. You've spent time with her. She gave you her last meal. What more do you need? I need to be sure. Malik, I've been wrong before. I can't be wrong again. So, Darius tested her one more time, not cruelly, not with manipulation, with observation. He watched from across the street as a teenage boy came to Lena's stand. The boy was clearly hungry, clearly broke. He stood at a distance, staring at the food. Lena noticed. She waved him over, fed him for free, didn't ask questions. When the boy left, she had one less sale for the day. She didn't care. It was raining hard, Atlanta rain that turned streets into rivers. Most vendors packed up and went home. Lena stayed because she saw an elderly man sitting at a bus stop with no umbrella. She packed up her stand, walked over to the man, and held her canopy over him until the bus came. She got soaked. When the bus arrived and the old man thanked her, she just said, "Stay warm, Papa." The one that sealed it. Darius was sitting at the stand when Kendra Vance walked by. Yes, the same Kendra. She was on her phone, not watching where she was going, and she tripped on the uneven sidewalk. Her heel broke, her bag spilled, her phone skidded across the ground. "Oh my God!" Kendra shrieked. "These stupid streets, this stupid neighborhood." Darius didn't move. He remembered every cruel word she had said to him. But Lena moved. She rushed over, helped Kendra pick up her things, handed her the phone. "Are you okay, sister? Are you hurt?" Kendra snatched her phone back and looked at Lena with disgust. "Don't touch my things with your greasy food hands." Lena stepped back. "I was just trying to help." "I don't need help from a street food vendor. God, this neighborhood is a dump." Kendra hobbled away on her broken heel, muttering insults. Lena watched her go. Then she turned back to her stand, shook her head, and smiled. "Some people carry their pain in their mouth," she said to Darius. "It comes out as cruelty, but it's really just sadness." She wasn't angry. She wasn't bitter. She had just been insulted, humiliated, disrespected, and her response was compassion. Darius stared at her. "How do you do that?" "Do what?" "Forgive people who don't deserve it," Lena shrugged. "My grandmother used to say, bitterness is a poison you drink hoping the other person dies. I don't have time for poison, Owen. I have a daughter to raise." That was it. That was the moment Darius knew with absolute certainty. This woman was real, and she deserved to know the truth. "Lena, I need to tell you something." "Okay. Can we talk tonight, after you close the stand?" "Is everything okay?" "Everything is about to change. I just need you to hear me out." She studied his face, those perceptive eyes seeing something shifting. "Okay, Owen, tonight." That evening, after the stand was closed and Kara was asleep at the neighbor's house, Darius and Lena sat on the steps behind her small apartment. The Atlanta sky was dark. Stars were hard to see in the city, but somehow a few broke through. "Lena, my name isn't Owen." She looked at him. "Okay. My name is Darius." "Darius." No reaction. The name meant nothing to her. "I'm not homeless. I'm not poor. I'm not who you think I am." She tilted her head. "Then who are you?" "I'm the founder and CEO of Hale Global Technologies." I'm worth a lot of money, Lena. More money than you can imagine. Silence. Long silence. Lena? You're telling me you're a billionaire? Yes. And you've been coming to my food stand every day, dressed like this, pretending to have nothing. Yes. Why? Because my mother told me to find out who loves me when I have nothing, and you do. You gave me your last meal, Lena, your last meal, when you thought I was nobody, when you thought I had nothing to offer you. Lena was quiet for a very long time. Darius's heart pounded. This was the moment. Would she be angry? Would she feel used? Would she? So all this time, you had money. You could have eaten anywhere, at any restaurant, and you came to my little stand. Yes. And you let me give you my last meal, my dinner, when you could have bought the entire street. Yes. He waited for the anger. Instead, Lena started laughing. Not a bitter laugh, not a sarcastic laugh, a real full, deep belly laugh. Lena? You are crazy. She laughed harder. A whole billionaire sitting on my plastic chair, eating jollof rice from a paper plate with holes in your jeans. Darius couldn't help it. He started laughing too. They laughed until tears came, the good kind of tears. When the laughter faded, Lena wiped her eyes. Darius, I need you to understand something. What? I didn't give you my last meal because I expected something. I didn't feed you because I thought you were secretly rich. I fed you because you were hungry. That's it. That's the whole reason. I know. And if you had told me on day one that you were a billionaire, I would have charged you double. He burst out laughing again. She smiled. Then she got serious. What happens now? Darius took her hand. There's an event, a charity gala. I'm being honored for some donations I made. I want you to come with me. Me at a gala. Darius. I don't have a dress. I don't have shoes. I don't know how to act around those kinds of people. You don't need to act. You just need to be you. That's more than enough. And your world, your fancy billionaire world, what will they think of a street food vendor from a village? They'll think I finally found someone real. She squeezed his hand. Okay, I'll come. But I'm warning you, if the food at this gala is bad, I'm leaving. He laughed. Deal. The Grand Hyatt Ballroom had never seen anything like it. Guests, the biggest names in Atlanta, senators, tech CEOs, athletes, entertainers. A red carpet stretched from the entrance to the ballroom doors. Photographers lined both sides, flashing cameras at every arrival. The event was the Atlanta Philanthropy Awards. And tonight's guest of honor was the anonymous donor who had given millions to build homeless shelters across the city. Nobody knew who it was. The rumors had been flying. A Saudi prince, a Silicon Valley mogul, a Hollywood actor. Nobody guessed it was Darius Hale, because Darius had always given anonymously. Never wanted credit, never wanted attention, just wanted to help. Tonight, he was stepping out of the shadows. Mullick had arranged everything, a custom midnight blue Tom Ford suit for Darius, freshly groomed, clean-shaven. The billionaire was back. And for Lena, a stunning gold gown that caught the light like liquid sunshine. Simple diamond studs in her ears, her natural hair styled in an elegant updo. She looked at herself in the mirror, and her eyes went wide. Oh, Darius, this dress costs more than my food stand makes in a year. You're worth more than every dress in this city. I look like a queen. You always did. Now the outside matches. Kara was being watched by Lena's neighbor, safe, happy. The limousine pulled up to the Grand Hyatt. Lena gripped Darius's hand. I'm nervous. Don't be. Every person in that room became successful by pretending to be something they're not. You became extraordinary by being exactly who you are. She took a breath. Okay, let's go. They stepped onto the red carpet. Cameras flashed. People stared. Who was this woman beside Darius Hale? Nobody recognized her. She wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't a socialite. She wasn't anyone they had seen in their circles, but she carried herself like she belonged, because she did. Inside the ballroom, the crowd was electric. Champagne flowed, a live orchestra played. Round tables draped in white linen filled the space. Darius and Lena took their seats at the main table near the stage. And that's when Darius saw her, Kendra Vance. She was there. Of course she was. A social climber like Kendra never missed a high-profile event. She was wearing a tight red dress, dripping in jewelry, and working the room like it was her personal networking event. She hadn't noticed Darius yet, but she would. The MC stepped to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the annual Atlanta Philanthropy Awards. Applause. Tonight, we honor a man whose generosity has changed thousands of lives. His donation has built shelters across this city. He has housed people who had nowhere to go. The crowd murmured with anticipation. He chose to remain anonymous, but tonight he has agreed to step forward and let us thank him properly. The spotlight swept across the room. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Darius Hale, founder and CEO of Hale Global Technologies. The room erupted. Darius stood from his chair, buttoned his suit jacket, walked to the stage, hundreds of people on their feet applauding. But Darius wasn't looking at them. He was looking at Kendra. She was in the third row, her wine glass frozen halfway to her lips. Her face was white because she recognized him, the dirty man from the bench, the homeless man she had told to leave, the man she had called barely human. Her wine glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. The sound cut through the applause. People near her turned to look. Kendra didn't notice. She was staring at the stage, her mouth hanging open, her perfectly applied makeup unable to hide the horror in her eyes. Darius stepped to the microphone. Thank you all. The applause died down. Everyone sat. I'm not going to give you a long speech about philanthropy. Instead, I want to tell you all a story. He paused. Ago, I disguised myself as a poor man. I wore old clothes. I had no money. I wanted to see how the world would treat me when I had nothing. The room went silent. I sat on a bench in Midtown. A woman told me to leave because I was making the area look bad. Murmurs. I stood in the rain. The same woman told me I was blocking her store entrance. More murmurs, eyes darting around the room. I helped an elderly woman pick up her groceries, and that same woman accused me of stealing. Kendra was sinking into her chair, trying to disappear. She called me barely human. Gasps. Darius let the words settle. But then I met someone else. His voice softened. A woman who runs a small food stand in Southwest Atlanta. He looked at Lena. She was wiping her eyes. She saw me standing there hungry, and she didn't ask if I could pay. She just said, "Come sit, eat." He paused. She fed me, for time. She talked to me. She laughed with me. She treated me like a human being, not because she knew who I was, because that's who she is. The crowd was completely still. And on the coldest day, when business was slow and she had almost nothing left, she gave me her last plate of food. He paused. Her last meal, her dinner, the food she was supposed to eat herself. She gave it to a stranger she thought had nothing. Absolute silence. That woman is here tonight. He extended his hand toward Lena. Lena Brooks, the most extraordinary person I have ever met. The spotlight found her. Lena stood slowly, tears streaming, glowing in her gold gown. Hundreds of people rose to their feet. The ovation was thunderous. Lena covered her mouth with her hand, overwhelmed. Darius walked off the stage, crossed the ballroom, and took her hand. "I told you," he whispered. "You just had to be you." She laughed through her tears. "The food here better be good." He laughed. "Nothing will ever be as good as your jollof rice." The ovation continued. And in the third row, Kendra sat alone, tears of shame running down her face, wishing the floor would swallow her whole. The gala changed everything, but not in the way most people expected. After the speech, the story went viral. Someone had recorded it on their phone. The video had millions of views. Billionaire disguises as homeless man. What happens next will make you cry. The whole world was watching. Interview requests poured in. CNN, Good Morning America, BBC. Everyone wanted to talk to Darius and Lena. They declined them all. Our story isn't for cameras, Lena said. It's for us. But the story had consequences, good ones and bad ones. The good. Darius's shelter project exploded. After the viral video, donations flooded in from around the world. The project grew from shelters to more. Lena's food stand became the most famous food stand in Atlanta. Lines around the block every day. Food critics calling her jollof rice the best in the city. She didn't raise her prices. If I raise my prices, the people who need my food most can't afford it. I didn't start this stand for rich people. I started it for hungry people. Darius offered to open a restaurant for her, a real one, with a proper kitchen and seating and staff. Only if I can keep the stand too, she said. The stand is where I met you. It's where I belong. He kept the stand and opened the restaurant, both. Kara got into the best school in Atlanta, full scholarship, not because of Darius's money, but because she tested in the top % in the state. That's her mother's brain, Darius told Malik. Not my money. The bad Kendra Vance's life fell apart overnight. When the viral video spread, people identified her as the woman who had called Darius barely human. Screenshots of her social media, full of luxury posts and arrogant captions, circulated alongside the video. Her clients dropped her. Her friends distanced themselves. Her Instagram followers plummeted. She posted an apology video, tears, remorse. I'm not that person. I was having a bad day. Nobody believed her because it wasn't one bad day. It was a pattern, a lifestyle of cruelty disguised as class. Kendra showed up at Lena's food stand. She stood in line like everyone else. No Range Rover this time, no Louboutin heels, just regular clothes and a humbled expression. When she reached the front of the line, Lena recognized her immediately, the woman who had called her a street food vendor with greasy food hands. Kendra couldn't make eye contact. 1 plate of jollof rice, please. Lena studied her for a moment. Then she scooped the rice, added extra plantain, extra chicken, a full bowl of pepper soup. Kendra looked at the overflowing plate, confused. Why are you giving me extra after what I said to you? Lena smiled. Because you're hungry, and when someone is hungry, you feed them. That's it. And that's the whole reason. The same words she had said to Darius on day 1. Kendra's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry for what I said to you and to him. Lena reached across the counter and squeezed her hand. I forgave you a long time ago, sister. Now sit down and eat. Kendra sat, and for the first time in her life, she tasted what kindness felt like. Darius and Lena were married, not at the Grand Hyatt, not at the Ritz-Carlton, at Lena's food stand. They pushed the tables together, hung lights from the canopy, invited people, the regular customers, the construction workers, the bus drivers, the students who ate there every day. Kara was the flower girl. She threw rice instead of petals. It's jollof rice, Mama, she announced, because that's how you met Daddy. Everyone laughed. Darius's mother flew in from the village. She held Lena's face in her hands and said, You are the answer to my prayer. What prayer, Mama? I prayed for God to send my son a woman who would love him when he had nothing. And he sent him a woman who gave him everything she had. Darius stood beside his bride, in front of the food stand where she had changed his life with a plate of rice, and said his vows. Lena, you didn't save me with money. You saved me with jollof rice, a plastic chair, and the words come sit, eat. You taught me that love isn't what people say when the world is watching. Love is what they do when no one is looking. My father said that, and you proved it. Lena said hers. Darius, you came to my stand with nothing, and I gave you everything I had. Not because I'm generous, because my mother taught me that a hungry person is God's question to you. And I answered, I will always answer for you, for Kara, for anyone who's hungry. That is who I am." The guests cheered, and under the canopy of a small food stand in southwest Atlanta, surrounded by the smell of jollof rice and the sound of laughter, two people from the same soil found what they had been looking for all along. Not money, not status, not validation from a world that only sees what you own. Just love, real, simple, unshakable love, the kind that feeds you when you're hungry, the kind that holds you when you're broken, the kind that gives you its last meal and doesn't think twice. And the lesson of this tale, the richest person in the room is not the one with the biggest bank account. It is the one with the biggest heart. And sometimes the person who has the least gives the most. Remember that. If this story moved your heart, subscribe and hit that notification bell, because every tale has a lesson.